And we've got the Virginia Innovation Partnership Corporation, also a corporate partner. So I'm really excited about this afternoon. I've spent over 20 years in education, and I think what I was really struck with this morning was how, despite the conversation being about innovation and the future, there was a real focus on humanity. And I felt like all of our speakers kept returning to this theme of whether it was human-centered design or whether it was really trying to see people in their multiple perspectives. And no place to me is more human than education. We begin educating people at such a young age, and hopefully we prepare lifelong learners, people that are constantly curious, always looking to learn new things. So I'm really excited to introduce our moderator. You know, moderating this HBCU panel is one of the most respected voices in American journalism, an award-winning journalist, speaker, and advocate. Please help me in giving a great welcome to Suzanne Malveaux.
Across the Commonwealth that have shaped American leaders for generations. From 4 institutions that turn access into excellence and excellence into legacy. 4 presidents, 4 traditions, 1 stage, legacy, leadership, and the next generation of HBCU impact. Moderated by award-winning journalist, speaker, and advocate, Suzanne Malveaux. Founded in 1882, Virginia State University has spent generations shaping leaders, innovators, educators, entrepreneurs, change makers across America. Located just south of Richmond, Virginia, serves more than 5,000 students while continuing to expand its impact in research, technology, business, agriculture, and public service. Known for its proud Trojan tradition, deep culture, and commitment to excellence, VSU remains a powerful engine of opportunity and advancements. Now in its 11th year as president, Dr. Makola M. Abdullah has led the university through transformative growth while championing innovation, access, and student success. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage President Makola M. Abdullah. Founded in 1935, Norfolk State University has built one of the most distinctive institutional entities in the Commonwealth. Home to roughly 5,500 students in the heart of Hampton Roads, NSU is a research-driven, future-facing university with deep stress in cybersecurity, engineering, business, and the arts. Its Spartan tradition, marching band culture, and academic ambition have shaped generations of leaders across Virginia, the country, and around the world. Since 2019, Dr. Javon Adams Gaston has guided Norfolk State through historic enrollment, growth, record fundraising, and sharpening the university's research and innovation profile. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage President Javon Dr. J. Adams Gaston. All right. February 1865, the immediate aftermath of the emancipation, Virginia Union University is one of the oldest historically black universities in the country. Sitting in the heart of Richmond, VUU has shaped pastors, professors, civil rights leaders, athletes, and entrepreneurs for 160 years, the Panther tradition runs through the city. So does the university's leadership in workforce development, social mobility, and the spiritual life of the community. Since 2017, Dr. Hakeem J. Lucas has positioned Virginia Union as a forward-facing, forward-leaning HBCU with bold investments and academic programs, athletic excellence, and the university's footprint across the city. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage President Hakeem J. Lucas. Founded in 1868 near the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay, Hampton University stands as one of America's most storied, historically black universities. Home to more than 4,200 students, Hampton has produced presidents, generals, scientists, founders, and change makers across every field of American life for more than 150 years. Known as our home by the sea, Hampton's tradition of excellence runs from the classroom to the laboratory to the parade field. Since 2022, the university has been led by Lieutenant Gen. Daryl K. Williams, a retired three-star general and 1983 Hampton graduate whose career of service has matched only by his commitment to the next generation of Hampton leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage President Daryl K. Williams.
We all got a mixtape here. Thank you so much. Welcome to our afternoon panel, and of course our esteemed panelists here. I mean, this is just an incredible group. 4 HBCUs, Virginia, we are in the house. Thank you so much for being here. I took notes, I have note cards. I studied up, but you guys know each other. You all know each other very well. And so I've been told that we're not gonna have enough time. I'm gonna, you know, Dr. J, you're gonna have to keep these guys in line. Yes, lasso them in. We only have an hour. And we're gonna also be able to take some questions from the audience through the iPad. So first, thank you for having me. A little background, HBCU background, product of my mother who went to Xavier, my father who went to Howard. Very briefly, my father, he had a bachelor's and master's PhD, decided he wanted to be a doctor and wanted to go to Howard Medical School. But at the time he had three and then 4 little ones, including myself, and a lot of bills to pay. But Howard offered him and said, hey, why don't you teach microbiology since you have a PhD in it, and we'll go ahead and pay for medical school. And so that's what Howard University did for my father. My mother paid all the rest of the bills, took her elementary school education. And then my mother also at Xavier, she and her 4 siblings in New Orleans went from their home they had like a little packed lunch, took the bus, the trolley, then the bus to the school, and all got their bachelor's degrees, all 5 of them, from a mailman's salary. So this is what HBCUs providing that opportunity. So I want to start off with each one of you. You're called the dean, is that right?
That's correct.
The dean of this group?
Yes.
Okay. Get that straight. Each one of you, just the first question. You have a student, they come in, they're looking to see which school they want to go to. They've seen the dorms, maybe there's been a step show, they've met professors. You take that student and you say, hey, before you leave, before you make your decision, this is the one thing I don't want you to forget about this school, this university. Dean, I'm going to start off with you. What makes it special?
Well, I'll tell you first one. I'm just honored to be up here with my colleagues. We are great and incredible friends, and I think this is the first time we've ever shared a stage together like this, and so I'm kind of super excited to see what will happen. These guys are kind of crazy. Like all of them.
I've been warned.
I
have been warned.
Especially the general. He's black.
3 stars, General.
No, I'll say this. The thing that I tell young people when they come to our campuses. One, and I think this is so important, I tell them I'm proud of them. I mean, the fact that they're touring the campus or they're coming to look at Virginia State University, it says so much about what got them, right? That they're on the path to finishing high school. That they have the kind of mentors and or parents in their life that are helping them make the right decisions, and now they're touring any number of our campuses. And by the way, whenever they come on a tour through Virginia State, they've either already gone or they're going to Union, Hampton, and Norfolk State. And so I tell them, I said, look, I'm proud of you, and I'm fine with wherever you go. I want you to make the right decision, but I'm already proud of what you're doing, and I want to encourage you to make a decision of any of our 4 campuses. Now, what do I think is great about Virginia State?
Yes.
It's the people. I want you to meet them. I want you to talk to them. I want you to ask our students the right questions, the real ones. What's the food like in the dining room? What is it like to sleep in the residence hall? Ask the real questions that you want to know. And then if we're the great fit, that's good. And if we're not, that's okay too. If you learned from Virginia State what you don't like, great. Apply that on your visit to another school.
Dr. J.
Great. I absolutely agree. There are 2 things that I think of when I sit with students. One is I want to remind them of their excellence that's already there. They're at Norfolk State University because they had excellence, and we're there to help them polish it and really let it shine. And then the other part of that is a sense of belonging. That when you come to Norfolk State, and I've been so impressed over the years that I've been there, with how many of those students say, I feel like this is where I belong, this is where I'm supposed to be. And it's interesting because I feel the same way. I feel like I was meant to come to Norfolk State, and it is a privilege to come, so I can relate to them when they're saying, I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. But we have so many opportunities for them, and I would agree. We want all of our students to find the right home for themselves, and among these 4 institutions, they're going to find somewhere that's great for them. But I think that what I look at with the student is that sense of, this feels like home to me, and I feel like I can thrive here, and that's what we're looking for.
Thank you again for the opportunity to be here. First of all, we will all agree with everything that the previous president said, because they are absolutely right. As President Abdul said, we want every student that visits Virginia Union to first embrace the fact that we're just super excited you've made it here. There's so much that these students go through, particularly those between the ages of 18 and 25, just that they survived their situations and are carrying with them the pride of the generation, the expectations of the future. And you just want to just stop for a minute, give everybody a hug, and let them just feel the inspiration of the new tribe and community that's cheering them on. I think what President Dr. J said is very important, that this sense of belonging. Because at Virginia Union, I think what you need for us is that I want every student who visits, who stays, and who also may not stay, to have encountered some sacred space, right? I think my focus is usually when I speak to a student who is trying to make a decision, I ask them 3 things. 1, do you listen to your mom or your dad? I think what's critically important in the generation is to understand that it's more than just knowledge and degrees, but we're trying to help you become who you divinely believed you could be. And to be that midwife to a generation, it's hard to do if you are disobedient and you don't listen. And so I'm always looking for those who understand what it means to hear somebody who loves you call you into what you are going to be. I think the second that's critical for me is that you have a clear understanding of what this 4 years will be. If you've come here just to play and to waste your time, I think you need to go somewhere else. But if you understand that for 4 years, I have the responsibility of preparing you to be a gladiator in this arena called America to transform the world, let's go, suit up, let's get it done.
Honored to be here, and in an attempt not to be redundant, but to agree with everything my colleagues have said. The first thing that I talk to students about is the fact that some schools accommodate you. HBCUs were built for you. You know, it started that way, and that mission has not changed. And so if you want to go somewhere where you belong, and that where you will be affirmed in a way that brings out the best of who you are, then a place like Hampton and the other schools on this panel are, then that's where we want you to be. The next thing that I talk to students about Hampton is, much like my colleagues, is academics is table stakes. That's right. You're going to get a great academic education at any one of these schools. What we focus on is a piece as well beyond the classroom. And so your involvement in student organizations and your ability to truly become the best of who you are is what I'd like to emphasize at Hampton. It's not just a degree, it's a whole life experience. And I think most adults in the audience would agree that at the end of the day, your academics will only take you so far in life. You can get a great academic experience at any number of different places. But what makes us special, what makes Hampton special, all of my colleagues, is the affirmation that you receive and the understanding that you truly can be whoever and what it is, whatever you want to be. So I like to emphasize the whole life experience, not just the academic.
We not only have individual institutions and colleges, but also there is an alliance here that is very unique and historic. A lot of times we see the competition, but this is really collaboration, and I think that's very, very unique to this audience and the opportunities that your universities offer to, whether it's businesses, whether it's an AI startup, entrepreneurship, or research, that each one of your institutions, you work individually but also collaboratively as well. A two-hour commute between each one of the universities, if that. So explain and describe, what does that mean for people here, knowing that that is the kind of experience and collaboration that you have in the Commonwealth?
I'll start a little bit, I'll pass to my colleagues first. I think it's important, and you can hear it when we talk, that we're very aware that we're not competitors. Right? That we're on the same side, trying to do our very best for the young people in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And once you decide, well, that's not true. There are a couple of days a year when Virginia State is going to beat Virginia Union. And I think we all have that, right? But if it's not that Friday or that Saturday, right, then we are all on the same team trying to educate all of the same young people. The students at Union look just like the students at State. The students at Hampton look like the students at Virginia State. And so coming together to decide that not only are we not competitors, but that we're going to advertise the idea that we are in an alliance, that we want to work together. Dietrich Trent is here. Can you stand up? Dietrich Trent, wave your hand around. Dietrich Trent, who is the former worked for the White House Initiative on HBCUs as executive director, is now the executive director of the HBCU Alliance here in Virginia. And we present ourselves, whether it's to the General Assembly, whether it's to fundraisers, we present ourselves together because we know the power of being together and working together. And so it is, in many ways, it's an honor to be able to work collaboratively with, it's not just that we're friends, right? We work together because we believe that work together will make us all better.
I think the critical piece here is,
can we actually, just for a moment, can the tech just turn up the volume a little bit on everyone's speakers? I'm having a little bit of a trouble hearing. If we just turn it up just a little bit. Dr. Davis, sorry.
no worries. I think what's critical here is the notion that when you have the power of these four HBCUs, all coming from different directions and thoughts about, sort of how we create this alliance and then how do we shape it in a way that has power. And I have been, quite frankly, so pleased to be a part of this alliance because of the power that we have. We have a great General Assembly, a great Black Caucus, and they really, really have invested in these institutions and said, you know what, for so long, these institutions were underfunded, they were supported, but as we come together, we can support these institutions and they can continue to do the impressive and important work that is the minds of young people who, prior to the establishment of any of these institutions, would not have had a chance at a higher education. So now they have that chance, and we want to enhance it and use all of the opportunities that we have in order to move it forward. And I see that happening, and I am so proud because, as we talk about things, we talk about what are the ways that we can help one another. The Alliance is there, and it's helping our students, it's helping our campuses, and it's helping our communities.
And talk about a little bit more specifically, if you would, amongst each other. We have two institutions, universities here that are research, all right, designated research institutions. You have a cybersecurity and the psychology, cyber psychology. There are innovative things that are happening on each one of your campuses that you collaborate with. Can you be a little bit more specific on some of the things that you're very proud of?
Let me say that Norfolk State is really proud to be a research college university, Carnegie designation, which puts us along with our R2 and our R1, which is Howard University, among the 12% of research institutions in the nation. Excellent, bar none. So we're doing great things with research, and we're doing great things. I'm so proud of what we do with our cyber psychology. That program was the first program online, and it is going great guns and getting lots and lots of support across the nation. But if I ask any one of my colleagues, we can talk about all the things that we have done to say we're moving this up. We're not afraid. The cybersecurity program that we have is very, very strong. And so we can continue together to say there are things that we do that we all do, and then there are things that we do that are sort of the thrust of what we focus on. So I'll let my colleagues talk about that first.
You wanted me to go, Jim?
You're always first.
Yo. Well, I think we level set to what the Alliance is. The Alliance was a brainchild of President Abdullah, and we give him the credit for that. Look, at the end of the day, he's called the dean because he served the longest, and we have the same barber, and at the end of the day, he gets to do all the jokes, and when you're the dean, you just go with it, right? So that's just what it is. But the genesis of the thought was, how could we use the assets of the individual institutions to create a catalytic experience where every institution, students, faculty, and staff could benefit? One thing we do know from our alliance, we just completed an economic impact study. We collectively generate over $1.6 billion to the Commonwealth. Collectively, we are each anchor institutions in 4 major cities in the Commonwealth. Collectively, we employ over 50,000 people. Collectively, we generate in local economies over an average of $300 million. So while historically HBCUs were built for the purpose of helping freed persons understand what their role in society has been, the evolution over the last 150 years has been such that our institutions ensure not just that diversity, equity, and inclusion is preserved in the Commonwealth, but that economic and social mobility actually happens. And so this alliance is about, one, making sure that we catalyze things that we often will share anyway. One, we do know this. A student may transfer from Virginia Union and end at Virginia State. They may start at Virginia State and end at Virginia Union, but there's some consistency in that educational experience. Two, we know there will be faculty, staff who will sometimes begin a career at Virginia Union, will end a career at Virginia State. And at the end of the day, what we want to make sure of is that we understand as presidents that what we do together is more impactful, it's more accessible, it's more meaningful if we do it together.
So I'm not so sure our relationship is unique, but I would say it's special. And so what you should take great comfort in the Commonwealth of Virginia is the relationship among these four presidents. That in and of itself has a multiplying effect that's greater than any one of our institutions. So again, agree with everything. The part I'll talk about is the social and health impacts I think that we're all having because we're doing some things collectively. Thanks to some funding that was provided through the legislature. We were all given some funding, for example, to help improve health care in some of our underserved communities. And as a result of that funding, we're all taking on individual initiatives, and the directive of the funding must build upon something that one of the other institutions do. So Norfolk State and Hampton, for example, are together in a project to improve nursing and healthcare on both sides of the divide. And so this idea that because of the relationship that we have, we can do this so seamlessly is something that is worth its weight in gold for the Commonwealth of Virginia. We also have unique capabilities. So at Hampton, many know that we have the Hampton Proton Cancer Institute, where we've successfully treated over 5,000 people through a proton cancer treatment that is good for the entire Commonwealth of Virginia. And each one of our schools has a capability like that adds to the fabric of the Commonwealth of Virginia. And we have no trouble at all picking up the phone and attempting to start these kinds of initiatives on our own in a way that's not just good for our individual institutions, but it's good for all institutions and are good for the Commonwealth.
Yes, go ahead.
If I could, because the general was being modest, I also agree that our relationship is very special. But if you look across the country, you won't find another alliance of HBCUs in the state, public and private, working together like this. You won't find it. As a matter of fact, I would venture to say this. You wouldn't find a group of PWIs, public and private, working together in the manner in which we do. And it really speaks to how special everyone is and how collaborative, naturally, that this group is. So I just wanted to say it is very special. The relationships we have are really good.
Can we talk a little bit about the advancement? Obviously, AI is uprooting and impacting the way students are taught, the way they're prepared, what employers are looking for in this audience from those who are graduating from these institutions and colleges. What makes you prepare for the innovation, right? Not just the consumption, but the innovation that we need to see from our community when we look forward.
Well, first of all, I don't think any of us goes to any forum, academic or otherwise, where the term artificial intelligence doesn't come. And as anchor institutions within our respective communities, as well as for the students that we serve, we have an obligation to make sure that we are at the forefront of what's happening in this space. And so at Hampton, we are taking on two very specific initiatives as we speak. One is called DAIX, and that's the Digital Artificial Intelligence Immersion Experience. And at its core, it is a workforce development initiative designed to teach the rudiments of artificial intelligence, not for our campus community, but for the campus growth. And the reason why we're undertaking this workforce development initiative for adult upscaling and other purposes is in an area where, based upon what city you find yourself, the population is anywhere from 40 to 45% African American. A lot of underserved communities in that area, a lot of veterans in that area, which obviously is very personal to me. If a school like Hampton University doesn't do it, then who will? And so we've taken on this responsibility, not just for the university, but for the community. And it's through this initiative on AI called DAIS. The second one, we are in the process of building an on-campus experience. And it's the Hampton Artificial Intelligence Center that will be specifically for our faculty and our staff. Some of the capabilities in that center in the not too distant future will be obviously artificial intelligence or virtual reality. We'll have a teaching space. We're partnering with Google, with Apple, a company called Leidos, Cox Communications, and others to bring that specific capability to our campus. The DAIS, we will cut the ribbon on within the next 45 days. Our HTAC, the Hampton one on campus, we will cut the ribbon on by the end of next academic year. So we have very specific initiatives that are part of our strategic plan endorsed by our board.
What has happened nationwide is people have decided that it's AI against the humans, and it's just not. AI is a tool. We've had many tools in the past. Why do we think this is a tool that's going to take us over? I'm not quite sure, but what we have to teach our students is how to use the tool and not have the tool use you. And so there are many ways in which we're looking at, and we have had AI, many credentials, so that students begin to get some opportunity to engage with AI and not think of AI as this is the thing that's going to make me not have a job. Because if you get the credentials, you'll have a job. And so the credentials are a part of the education. They are not the education. Because the education is the full education that you need. The 4 years matter. And what makes them matter, as the general said, is both the outside of the classroom experience that teaches you how to engage with people that you're still going to need to do, sure, and how to also get these micro credentials that allow you to say, I understand AI. I understand what can be done with AI, but I am, as this human being, able to demonstrate that I can be on a team, that I can critically think, that I can work with others that are different from me, that I can do things that make employers and their needs met. So we work very hard to do that, and we add to that internships.
Paid.
I
know that's very important to you. Tell us why.
Paid internships are important to us because our students typically can't afford not to have a paid internship. So what happens is the playing field gets unleveled, because for those who have and can go and do an unpaid internship, they're going to get, like almost 70% of them are going to get a job. Our students typically have to work, and I say all the time, we have to have them working paid internships for several reasons. One is for the learning, but also they can't afford not to have the income that allows them to work. So we work very hard to say, the goal is that every student leave Norfolk State University having had at least one paid internship. I prefer to have 3, but at least one paid internship, because that changes what they will experience and what they will do about having jobs. And then all of this nonsense that I'm not going to be able to get a job because AI is going to have my job goes away.
I want to talk about the current environment. I mean, it's quite extraordinary because on the one hand, there are so many resources now for HBCUs. We saw the transfer, right, of resources from some predominantly Hispanic institutions to HBCUs and native colleges in the tune of like $500 million. And so there's a boom. There's like a real progress, and you, Mackenzie Scott, obviously some of the money that your institution has received. But we're in a place and a time where our history is under siege, and our brothers and sisters, immigrants, under attack, are many people targeted who are marginalized, and our discourse very harsh, violent. Talk about the mental health challenges that your students are facing, because they have to be prepared to be out there in the real world, in the world in which they live today, and it's very different.
I'll just say a few words and I'll let my colleagues speak. I'm a psychologist by training, and I was in practice for more than 25 years while I also was an administrator. And what I will say is I have not seen this level of psychological distress and pain in my entire career. It is so high. And part of it is a decision that we have made that, COVID happened, it's over, and we're gonna, keep moving. Well, that's not what happened. For our students, often, they went home and they had several siblings, and everybody tried to be on, have computer access and to be on Classroom in environments where the infrastructure is such that the IT is so bad that it didn't work for them. So then they ended up doing things that were not useful. Often their parents had to work during COVID. And to add to that, many of them saw a relative, maybe Big Mama, die in the house because she couldn't get to the hospital. So we're traumatized, and we're telling students, just take that trauma and push it down. Well, that's not gonna work. So we are doing many, many more things around health, wellness, and mental health. And it's working because we have students who say, I am struggling. I need to go somewhere and get some help. They're not afraid to ask now. And that's really, really a different view than we've had in the past. We have got to get, and the truth is we need to get the K-12 students some help. Because if we don't, we will see a undoing that I don't think we've ever seen before. We're seeing some of that now. So we want to bring them in, but we want to acknowledge that they need support, and we can provide that support, and I think we all do.
Want me to answer? Yeah. I don't know if I'm the right guy to that question.
Can you speak up? Sorry.
Yeah, you hear me good?
There you go.
I don't know if I'm the right guy for that question. My social justice is too deep. For 161 years, Virginia Union has been the product of many people taking from us or overlooking us. Progeny of the movements that have created Virginia Union as the first and oldest HBCU in the nation are situations that have resulted in trauma for decades and generations. What I challenge our students to do first is to embrace this moment. Do you understand that this is the first time in the history of African Americans that you have the opportunity to even think about your mental health? That your grandma had to go to work before she could deal with her mind? Your great-grandmama had to pick the cotton, strip the sugar, take the rice and shake it in the bin, and had to carry you on her back before she could even think about her mental health? Do you understand that Sunday was your mental health counselor? That it was your preacher who tried to dip you in the graces of God to get your mind wrapped back together? And so you all have just the grace to be able to sit down and say, I want to take a year off. I want to do nothing but focus on my mental health. And I like to always shape that conversation by saying mental health today is a luxury that was built on the back of your ancestors. And if we embrace it in that way, then we have to say, okay, young people, please understand that the struggles that we face today, Trump didn't start it and won't end it. Please, let's understand that, whoa, there are a lot of situations in this world that are amazingly equal to what experience we've had prior to emancipation. Look, at the end of the day, at Virginia Union, I'm super focused on economic and social mobility. What is that? That is understanding the embrace of education and generational wealth. I'm very, very clear, as we talked about AI, and we now have shifted the conversation of mental health and what's happening in the world. Our students at our institutions, and I mean our collectively, have just an amazing opportunity. An opportunity that if you get distracted, you'll miss it. Because these times are the crucible by which greatness is formed. These are the times that we need you to be focused on developing your skills, your talents, your gifts, your grades, to be able to lead in critical spaces. At the end of the day, look, we understand that each one of our institutions, beyond the word belonging, it really is dealing with your traumas. And saying that, look, you're not going to be able to carry those traumas and then try to become an advocate for someone else and then try to use your own agency to get and gain employment. That all of us may be able to cause our students to come together. Just stop. Let's deal with the abuse. Let's deal with the violence. Let's deal with the environment that birthed us. Let's heal from this. And then let's understand how I can advocate for those who were abused and then use that empowerment, if you will, and that knowledge and that new embrace and that wholeness and that wellness to go and enter into the workplace. At the end of the day, you know, I'll say it, and I've said it before, but I'll conclude my comments with math. We don't do math anymore. I mean, listen. Allegedly, we arrived here enslaved in 1619. And we are emancipated in 1865, 246 years. 1865 plus 246 is 2,111. 2026 to 2111 is just about 85. At the end of the day, in 2111, we would have been free in the United States of America equal to the years of enslavement. We currently have 85 years to ensure that the descendants of the slave does better than the slave did themselves. By the U.S. Census Bureau, by the labor statistics, we are actually performing economically worse than our ancestors did prior to emancipation. Even though we have more degrees, more access, more paper, what you were doing financially to generate savings, wealth, investment, ownership is less than your ancestors did prior to emancipation. The question is, what will you do with the next 85 years?
Thank you. That is a call to action. I want to ask each one of you to get a little bit personal here in terms of what is it that keeps you up at night and what keeps you going, right? Like why are you in the positions that you're in and still feeling a sense that there is possibility for that next 85 years to make a difference? What is the motivator? How do you even manage yourselves? What's your superpower, Dean?
That's an interesting way. Most people structure a question like that, and I always struggle because I sleep well every day. I get 8-9 hours of sleep every night. And the only thing on campus that I really worry about like that is safety and security, right? You don't want something to happen to someone on campus. But to answer the question under the question, I am honored. The last question to Dr. Lucas, I was going to say something, but I wasn't going to say something after you killed it. I was going to leave it alone. But we were born in this time. This has always been the time for HBCUs. In a difficult political climate when Black people were struggling. That's when we were born, and that's every movement that's come out to move the United States forward. It's come out of our institutions. And so I am honored that I get a chance to be a part of an incredible legacy every single day. I am honored that I get a chance to be a part of young people chasing their dreams and giving them the chance to be better versions of themselves. It is I know so many of my friends that they do work and then they do community service on the weekend so they can feel like they're contributing to their community. I am honored that I get to do that every single day as a part of my job, and it's generally reported. I wouldn't want to do anything else. I enjoy this job so, and I don't mean the happy part, but the idea of being able to be a part of something and contribute to society, I enjoy that. And I feel it's a blessing because everybody doesn't have that opportunity. It's also why I honor that blessing by doing the very best that I can.
And I will say that people love you. Your students love you. So when I'm doing my research, I get the YouTube videos that have gone viral that your students put out in your graduation ceremony where you said, where are them fans at? And they were underneath the chairs. And everybody started doing boots on the ground in the middle of the graduation.
And you sang with new edition.
Yes, it's me. It's me. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, your students love you. You have that connection.
But I'll say this, because you can say this, because I get to watch their stuff. For young people today, you can't tell them unless they know you care. Right? These folks love their students, and that's why they're able to have an impact. If you can't show them love, you can't move anything. You can't make anything happen without love.
You have to be present. They desire that, need that, and I feel are on that. I tell the story because it's true all the time about how I got to Norfolk State University. At the end of the process, the search process, and you're in a hotel and there are 3 of you in different rooms and you don't know who the other people are. And they say, we're going to call somebody down shortly. And I'm in the room with the first gentleman, my husband, and he stands up and he says, this is our assignment. And within 5 minutes, they call us down and offer the job. I always know that this is our assignment. We love doing it. And he is as engaged as I am. And the students love him as much as they love me. But it takes being present. You gotta go where they are. You gotta attend the things that they do. You gotta demonstrate that they matter. From the academic things to the music things to the theater things to the athletic things, you have to be present, and it matters to them. Because what you're saying is they matter. And so I love what I get to do. And I always say that. I love what I get to do. Is it hard? Yes. But I think it's not hard. We all know it's hard, but it's worth it. Because when those 600 students graduated on Saturday and sat in the rain, became sun, and the families are there, and they are saying, this is our future. And the students know that they're taking their families with them as they cross that stage. That's what matters. We're sending those individuals out into the world the way that they talked about, each of them talked about needing to have those students go out into the world and know that they are prepared, they are ready, and they are fulfilling the future. That ancestor who picked the cotton, and I gotta tell you, the cotton makes me really, I didn't know cotton could make me that emotional. Or when I take the train and I think about people trying to get to freedom, there's a lot in the Commonwealth of Virginia to remember and to know. But we do something that is unparalleled, and I am proud to be a part of it.
I'll reframe the question just a little bit to get at my point. Instead of what keeps me up at night, I'll ask, how did you sleep last night? I slept like a baby. I woke up every 30 minutes. So what was I crying? What was I worried? It's really more of a strategic point for me, and that is the fact that I hope we don't forget the importance of our HBCU. So when I think about my grandfather who grew up in Pelham, Georgia, as a sharecropper, and then fought in World War I, was brought back to service in World War II, although he was in his 40s. And when I think about my grandfather, my mother was born in 1924, literally 100 years later, a little bit more than 100 years later. The grandson of a sharecropper became a 3-star general, president of Hampton University. So when I left West Palm Beach, Florida in 1979, as an undergraduate to come to Hampton, I knew that it wasn't just about me. This was about generations of people that allowed us to come to this point. That's where we are with HBCUs. Generations of people from our communities and our world built these institutions, which by and large built much of the black middle class in America that serves all of America. The thing I worry about is that we don't fully support and understand the specialness of HBCUs and what they do, and the fact that 40% of the engineers in the United States, black engineers, came from HBCUs, 60 to 70% of doctors and lawyers came from HBCUs, 80% of the judges came from HBCUs. And so the piece I worry about is the fact that we will forget the place that these phenomenal institutions fulfill in our communities, in our nation, and in our world, and we cannot allow it.
I know we're running out of time. I can't figure out that thing, so. But we are going to leave with a parting thought, and I want you to think about it, because I would like you to think about, what does this audience need to know? And when they walk out, these are our employers, they're innovators, they're creatives, and they're allies. And we're in this together. And yet there may be things that people don't understand, and you want them to get it, just to get it. When they walk out the door and know that they heard you and why you're here.
Yep. Okay. You hear me good? I just love it when the Spirit of God comes into a moment, and to see just our colleagues, you can just see the Spirit fall on them. I mean, it's just a marvelous thing. I just love to watch it. Anyway, all right, we're at the top of the hour. I got to give a closing comment. So, I mean, clearly the topic is legacy leadership and the next generation, the HBCU impact, right? And of course, we're talking with innovators. And I would just leave with maybe an ask and request is to say, hey, partner with us. Come and give us your talent, but we don't want it for free. I don't believe in the word free if dumb is not after it. And so, when you separate it, you be free and dumb. So just put freedom back together. And so, look, at the end of the day, we need good partners, right? People we can trust to help deliver our missions and our visions. And I would say, to do that, partner with us. Don't stand on the sideline. And don't just give us your child and pay tuition and think you're doing something special. We appreciate it, but we really need to do business, to be innovative, to be at the front lines of innovation, as we have always done so. But all of the things that we create are often taken by other institutions. They repackage it and make it look like they discovered how to teach black kids. So we need your help in that area.
Anyone else?
Well, I'll so the dean, I guess, can close it out. So I'll go next. But I want to leave everyone with the understanding that we talked a lot today about HBCUs, but don't forget that these are phenomenal institutions of higher education that compete on their own merit with any set of schools anywhere else in the nation. In years past, there was this narrative, in many cases, that You either got the best education or you went to an HBCU. I reject that narrative. The education that I got at Hampton University, I would put up against any institution anywhere in the world. And the proof in the pudding is out of graduates. They're in some of the best companies and some of the best industries and are doing some of the most phenomenal things in the entire world. So just realize that yes, today we're talking about HBCUs, but at the end of the day, we are incredible institutions of higher education and social mobility.
Essentially what I would say, I'll just say this. The product that we produce helps and inspires the world in which we live. We need to stop thinking that this is add-on. It is critically important that you have these individuals who bring a wealth of knowledge and a new way of thinking that helps you be successful. Thanks to all of you, there's so many of you who have been so good to our institutions. I appreciate it, and I know all my colleagues do. But never forget that this is additive to your success. It's not taking away, it's not putting instead of. It is additive to your success, and we want to help you be as successful as you help us to.
First, I want to echo everything that Dave said, but also say that we are not perfect institutions. And we also know, this audience appears to be predominantly African American, that we can be hard on our own institutions. To use a restaurant analogy, when you go to McDonald's, and McDonald's messes up your fries, you go back to McDonald's. But many times with our own restaurants, and if our own restaurants are a little slow with service one day, we will swear off all black restaurants. We have to support our missions and our institutions through the challenges. Through the challenges. We need your partnership because we are among the best institutions in the country doing the best work for the young people in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And that you can find a way to support that.
I want to thank everyone. I want to thank our panelists, and it has been an honor and a pleasure. And we are part of the innovation. We are part of the future, and we are making it happen. And we appreciate everyone here who supports that and supports that effort. So thank you again.
All right.
All
Make
right.
my soundtrack, DJ.